ever wondered how medieval hunters survived in wilderness using only primitive tools? These survival masters developed hunting techniques that sustained entire communities without modern equipment. Their methods required incredible skill and knowledge of nature. Today I'm revealing the ingenious hunting secrets that kept medieval people alive. Bow and arrow construction. Medieval hunters crafted longbows and crossbows using locally available materials that provided superior accuracy and power compared to many modern hunting weapons. Wood was preferred for longbows due to its natural flexibility and strength. Bowstring creation used animal sinew or plant fibers twisted into durable cords. Arrow construction involved selecting straight wood shafts, creating balanced fletching from feathers, and forging iron points. These handmade weapons required years of practice to master but provided reliable hunting capability. Trap and snare systems. Medieval trappers developed sophisticated snare systems that captured animals without requiring constant human presence, enabling efficient hunting while performing other survival tasks. Deadfall traps used carefully balanced stones or logs triggered by animal movement. Pit traps involved digging concealed holes with sharpened stakes for larger game. Spring snares used bent saplings that jerked captured animals off the ground. Wire snares were positioned along game trails where animals naturally traveled. Trap placement required understanding animal behavior and feeding patterns through careful observation. These systems provided consistent protein sources while conserving human energy. Tracking and animal behavior. Medieval hunters mastered animal tracking techniques that enabled successful hunts through detailed observation of wildlife patterns and environmental signs, rather than relying on modern equipment. Track identification involved recognizing footprints, scat, feeding signs, and habitat preferences for different animal species. Seasonal behavior understanding helped hunters predict where animals would be during different times of year. Weather pattern analysis enabled hunters to anticipate animal movement during storms or temperature changes. Scent detection and wind direction awareness prevented hunters from alerting prey to their presence. Silent movement techniques allowed hunters to approach animals without detection. These tracking abilities required years of practice. Spear and javelin techniques. Medieval hunters developed spear and javelin throwing techniques that provided effective weapons for hunting large game animals at safe distances using only hand-forged points and wooden shafts. Spear construction involves selecting straight, strong wood, and creating balanced weapons with proper weight distribution. Point creation used iron forging techniques that produced sharp, durable tips capable of penetrating animal hide and organs. Throwing techniques required precise timing, distance calculation, and understanding of trajectory physics achieved through extensive practice. Different spear weights served specific hunting purposes: light javelins for quick throws, heavy spears for close combat. Hunting formation strategies coordinated multiple hunters using spears to surround and take down large prey safely. These spear techniques enabled medieval hunters to take down animals much larger than themselves. Fire making and preservation. Medieval hunters mastered fire creation and maintenance techniques essential for survival, food preparation, and protection during extended wilderness hunting expeditions using only natural materials and traditional methods. Flint and steel methods produced sparks that ignited tinder made from dried grass, birch bark, or punk wood. Bow drill techniques used friction between wood pieces to create embers that could start fires without metal tools. Fire maintenance involved banking coals with ash to preserve heat overnight and building fires that burned efficiently without wasting limited fuel resources. Smoke signal creation enabled communication between hunting parties across long distances. Food smoking techniques preserved meat for extended periods without refrigeration. Torch creation provided portable light for night hunting or cave exploration. Fire safety prevented dangerous wildfires that could threaten communities and wildlife. Different wood types served specific purposes: HES, hardwoods for long-lasting coals, softwoods for quick ignition, aromatic woods for pest control. These fire skills were absolutely critical for medieval hunter survival, providing warmth, cooking capability, food preservation, tool-making heat, and protection from wild animals during dangerous wilderness expeditions. Food preservation methods. Medieval hunters developed comprehensive food preservation techniques that enabled long-term storage of hunted meat without refrigeration, ensuring protein availability throughout winter months and during extended hunting expeditions. Salt curing involved coating meat with salt to draw out moisture and prevent bacterial growth. Smoking techniques used controlled fires that dried meat while adding flavors that enhanced palatability. Air-drying methods created jerky that remained edible for months when stored properly. Fat rendering produced tallow that preserved meat when completely covered. Underground storage utilized Earth's natural cooling to maintain meat quality for extended periods. Fermentation processes created preserved meat products with extended shelf life. Different preservation methods suited various situations: M&S, quick smoking for immediate consumption, salt curing for long-term storage, drying for portable trail food. Quality assessment involved recognizing signs of spoilage and proper storage conditions. These preservation skills were essential because successful hunts often provided more meat than could be consumed immediately, requiring effective storage methods to prevent waste. Medieval hunters who mastered food preservation could sustain themselves and their families throughout winter months, when fresh hunting opportunities became severely limited by weather conditions and animal scarcity. Camouflage and concealment. Medieval hunters perfected camouflage and concealment techniques that enabled close approach to wary game animals, using only natural materials and environmental features available in hunting territories. Natural material camouflage involved using mud, leaves, branches, and vegetation to break up human outline and scent. Clothing selection included earth-toned fabrics that blended with forest environments. Movement techniques emphasized slow, deliberate actions that mimicked natural forest sounds and avoided alerting prey animals. Wind direction awareness prevented human scent from reaching animal noses. Blind construction created concealed hunting positions near water sources or game trails where animals naturally appeared. Tree stand techniques provided elevated hunting positions that offered better visibility while keeping hunters above animal sight lines. Scent masking used natural materials like pine needles or animal urine to disguise human odor. Seasonal adaptation adjusted camouflage techniques for different weather conditions and vegetation changes throughout the year. Sound discipline prevented equipment noise that could alert prey animals. Dawn and dusk hunting utilized low light conditions when animal activity peaked, but visibility provided natural concealment. These concealment skills required intimate knowledge of animal senses and behavior patterns, enabling medieval hunters to approach close enough for primitive weapons to be effective against alert prey animals that had survived natural predation pressures. Knife and cutting tool creation. Medieval hunters crafted essential knives and cutting tools using traditional blacksmithing and stoneworking techniques that produced durable, sharp implements necessary for field dressing, butchering, and preparing harvested game animals. Iron forging involved heating metal in coal fires and hammering it into blade shapes with proper curves and edges. Blade hardening used controlled heating and cooling that created steel hard enough to maintain sharp edges through heavy use. Handle construction utilized wood, bone, or antler materials that provided secure grips during wet conditions. Sharpening techniques used whetstones and leather strops that maintained cutting effectiveness throughout extended use periods. Different blade shapes served specific purposes: STS, curved skinning knives, straight filleting blades, heavy chopping tools for bone cutting. Tool maintenance involved regular cleaning, oiling, and edge touch-up that prevented rust and maintained performance. Stone tool creation provided backup cutting implements when metal tools broke or became lost during hunting expeditions. Knife safety techniques prevented injuries during use in challenging field conditions. Multi-tool designs combined cutting, scraping, and piercing functions in single implements that reduced equipment weight. These cutting tools were absolutely essential for processing harvested animals, enabling hunters to extract maximum nutrition and useful materials from successful hunts while preventing waste of valuable protein sources that sustained medieval communities through difficult survival periods. Shelter and weather protection. Medieval hunters constructed temporary shelters using natural materials that provided essential protection from weather conditions during extended hunting expeditions far from permanent settlements. Lean-to construction used fallen logs and branch frameworks covered with bark, leaves, or animal hides for waterproof roofing. Debris huts involved creating insulated shelters using layered natural materials that trapped warm air while shedding precipitation. Cave utilization provided ready-made shelter that hunters improved with additional materials and fire placement. Underground shelters offered protection from extreme weather and concealment from dangerous predators. Windbreak construction deflected cold air while channeling warm air from fires toward sleeping areas. Elevated sleeping platforms prevented ground moisture and cold from affecting hunter health during rest periods. Ventilation systems prevented dangerous carbon monoxide buildup while maintaining internal warmth from fires. Camouflaged shelters avoided detection by hostile humans or territorial animals. Quick shelter techniques enabled rapid construction during emergency weather situations. Seasonal adaptation adjusted shelter designs for different weather conditions and available materials throughout the year. These shelter skills were critical for hunter survival because extended hunting expeditions often required overnight stays in wilderness areas where inadequate protection could result in hypothermia, illness, or death. Medieval hunters who mastered shelter construction could pursue game animals across wide territories while maintaining health and energy levels necessary for successful hunting activities that sustained entire communities through harsh seasons. Water location and purification. Medieval hunters developed sophisticated water location and purification techniques that ensured safe drinking water during extended hunting expeditions in unfamiliar territories where contaminated water could cause fatal illness. Natural water indicators included following animal trails that typically led to water sources, observing vegetation patterns that indicated underground water, and recognizing geological features where springs commonly appeared. Water quality assessment involved visual inspection, smell testing, and understanding which sources were likely contaminated by upstream animal activity or stagnant conditions. Boiling techniques used portable containers or heated stones to kill dangerous bacteria and parasites that caused dysentery and other waterborne illnesses. Filtration methods used sand, charcoal, and cloth layers that removed visible impurities and improved water taste. Solar disinfection utilized sunlight exposure in clear containers that killed harmful microorganisms. Plant-based purification used specific herbs and tree bark that had antibacterial properties for water treatment. Storage methods prevented water contamination during transport using sealed containers or animal bladders. Emergency water sources included tree sap, rainwater collection, and dew-gathering techniques when primary sources were unavailable. Rationing strategies conserved water supplies during drought conditions or when traveling through dry territories. These water skills were absolutely essential because dehydration could quickly incapacitate hunters, while contaminated water could cause illness that prevented successful hunting activities. Medieval hunters who understood water location and purification could venture into distant territories where game was more abundant while maintaining health necessary for effective hunting performance. Herbal medicine and first aid. Medieval hunters mastered herbal medicine and field first aid techniques that treated injuries and illnesses using only natural remedies available in wilderness environments during extended hunting expeditions, far from professional medical assistance. Wound treatment involved cleaning injuries with boiled water, applying pressure to control bleeding, and using plant-based antiseptics like yarrow or plantain that prevented infection. Pain management utilized willow bark that contained natural compounds similar to aspirin for reducing inflammation and discomfort. Digestive remedies included herbs like mint, chamomile, and ginger that treated stomach problems caused by unfamiliar foods or contaminated water. Respiratory treatments used steam inhalation with medicinal plants that cleared congestion and treated coughs from cold weather exposure. Infection prevention involved recognizing early symptoms and applying antimicrobial herbs before serious complications developed. Bone-setting techniques provided emergency treatment for fractures using splints and natural materials. Poison treatment knowledge helped hunters recognize and treat exposure to toxic plants or venomous animal bites. Burn care utilized cooling treatments and protective dressings made from natural materials. Fever reduction employed cooling techniques and specific herbs that lowered body temperature during illness. Emergency surgery included basic procedures for removing foreign objects or treating severe wounds using sterilized cutting tools. These medical skills were crucial because hunting expeditions involved inherent dangers from weapons, wild animals, harsh weather, and difficult terrain that frequently caused injuries requiring immediate treatment. Medieval hunters who understood herbal medicine could continue hunting activities despite minor injuries while preventing serious complications that could prove fatal in wilderness conditions without modern medical facilities. Group hunting strategies. Medieval hunters developed sophisticated group coordination techniques that enabled successful hunting of large, dangerous animals through strategic planning and teamwork that maximized success while minimizing risks to individual hunters. Communication systems used hand signals, bird calls, and horn signals that coordinated hunter movements without alerting prey animals to human presence. Formation strategies positioned hunters to surround animals, block escape routes, and provide mutual support during dangerous encounters with large predators or aggressive prey species. Role specialization assigned specific tasks to hunters based on individual skills. SKISD trackers located prey, archers provided ranged attacks, spear carriers handled close combat, and support personnel managed equipment and wounded animals. Drive techniques used coordinated movement to push animals toward prepared killing zones where multiple hunters waited with weapons ready. Ambush tactics positioned hunters along natural choke points where animals could be attacked from concealment with minimal warning. Safety protocols prevented hunters from injuring each other with weapons while maintaining effective attack formations. Emergency procedures addressed situations when hunts went wrong, hunters were injured, or dangerous animals threatened the group. Resource sharing distributed equipment, food, and responsibilities among group members to optimize overall hunting effectiveness. Training programs taught novice hunters essential skills while preserving traditional knowledge through hands-on experience. Leadership structures coordinated group decisions while maintaining discipline necessary for dangerous hunting operations. These group hunting techniques enabled medieval communities to take down large animals like bears, wild boar, and deer that would be extremely dangerous for individual hunters to attempt. Successful group hunts provided substantial meat quantities that could sustain entire communities through winter months while distributing risks among multiple participants rather than placing impossible burdens on individual hunters. Working alone in dangerous wilderness conditions. These medieval hunting techniques prove that traditional skills and knowledge enabled successful wilderness survival using only primitive tools and natural materials. Their methods required extensive training and intimate understanding of nature but provided reliable means of obtaining essential protein and materials for survival during harsh conditions without modern technology. Subscribe for weekly wilderness wisdom that connects you with traditional knowledge and natural survival techniques.